You're listening to Wiretap with Jonathan Goldstein. Today's episode, Prized Possessions.
His multicolored coat, given to him by his father Jacob, was Joseph's prized possession. Although aside from a 2-inch whittling knife and a pomegranate, it was his only possession. Just the same, when he wore the coat, he felt as though he were literally cloaked in his father's love, and so he strutted about as proud as a peacock. It was a nauseating sight to behold, and his brothers could hardly stand it. It wasn't that they were especially jealous of their father's love for Joseph, nor were they jealous of the coat itself, because mainly they found it pretentious, pimpy, and ill-fitting. It was just that when Joseph wore it, he became unbearably vain. It got so that all Joseph talked about all day was the coat. "Do you have any idea how many colors are on this thing?" Joseph would ask to anyone who'd listen. 8, answered the butcher in the middle of his delivery. 8? A multicolored camel-riding waistcoat might have 8. Try 47, my friend. The chestal area alone is composed of buckskin, onyx beige, imperial brown, and cocoa. Do you have any idea what a pain in the neck it is to get your hands on cocoa in the desert? Multicolored coats were all the rage when their father was a boy, and had Jacob given any of his other sons such a coat, they would have thanked him politely, and then placed it in the back of their wardrobe, forgetting about it for all time. But not Joseph. He toiled, danced, whittled, and nibbled his pomegranate in his multicolored coat. It was bad enough the brothers had to look at Joseph's coat all day long, but on top of that, Joseph would not shut his mouth about the dreams he was having. Dreams he would have liked his brothers to believe were prophetic. "Last night I dreamt we were all binding sheaves of corn," he told them, all faux naively as they toiled under the desert sun. "And all of your sheaves bowed down to my sheaf. What do you think that means?" His brothers ignored him. "Did I mention that my sheaf was wearing a multicolored coat?" asked Joseph. While his brothers were out working, Joseph often stayed behind with his father, who enjoyed having him dance for him. Jacob found it meditative to watch the multicolored coat swirl about. Joseph would spin until he was exhausted and out of breath. He would spin so fiercely that at a certain point it was as though he was no longer an object in the world, but rather had become pure color. One afternoon while dancing for Jacob, Joseph stopped to tell his father about another one of his dreams that he had had the night before. In this dream, he said, the sun and the moon and 11 stars all bowed down before him. "What do you think that means?" asked Joseph. "Do you think," asked Jacob, not a little angry with his son, "that I and your mother and your 11 brothers are going to start worshipping you any time soon?" Joseph shrugged noncommittally, as though to say, "Dreams, don't they say the darndest things?" His son was beginning to give him a headache, so Jacob suggested that Joseph go out to Shechem to check on his brothers who were tending the family flocks. Because of his ostentatious coat, the brothers could see Joseph way off in the distance as he approached them from over the dunes. As they set their eyes upon him, their stomachs tightened with aggravation. "Fellas," said Joseph, once he was within earshot, "on the way over here, a group of shopkeepers told me that, would that a rainbow could vomit, its vomit might look a great deal like my coat. Isn't that the sweetest thing you've ever heard? You don't think this coat makes my ass look big, do you?" Suddenly, operating like interconnected cogs in some greater machine, the brothers seamlessly and wordlessly set upon Joseph, hoisting him over their heads and stripping him of his coat. They then dumped him unceremoniously into a nearby ditch. "I wonder if he prophesied that?" asked one of the brothers. Then, without giving Joseph another thought, they all went back to their work. It wasn't until a caravan of Ishmaelites on their way to Egypt rode by and asked for directions that one of the brothers thought of Joseph. "In need of any slaves?" the brother asked them. "We have one who is a most wicked dancer, and he can delight you with tales of the most extraordinary dreams you have ever heard." The brothers were paid 20 silver coins for their sibling. The only thing left to do was to fake Joseph's death so that their father could have some closure. The brothers slaughtered a baby kid and then drenched Joseph's coat in its blood. They would tell their father that Joseph had never reached them, that they had found his blood-soaked coat on their way home, and that he had probably been murdered by a band of thieves. So thorough were the brothers in soaking the garment that when they brought it to Jacob, it was at first completely unrecognizable to him. It merely looked like a red coat. It was only when Jacob noticed the tiniest little speck of cocoa, right by the neckline, that he fell to his knees weeping. "I will go down to my grave," said Jacob, "and still my tears will never cease." Jacob hung the coat on the wall above the dining table, so that he and his children could look upon it and be reminded of Joseph each night as they ate their dinner in silence. And for the next many years to come, without Joseph, everything in the world appeared to Jacob as though painted in shades of gray, even the desert sunset, when he bothered to notice it.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi.
I'm just getting rid of this other call. Can you just hold on to it for a sec?
Yeah, of course. How you doing?
I was talking to my boyfriend.
What, is he excited about moving in with you?
He had a totally different take on it. You know, guys always want to, like, maybe we can get a bigger TV. And, like, I live in a small walk-up in Midtown Manhattan near the UN. And I got to tell you, to pare down my apartment for my boyfriend to move in, it seems like a huge, arduous process. One of the hardest things that I'm struggling with right now, I can't get rid of this white leather jacket. I bought it to celebrate my first sort of mature job. You know, now it's the time when your parents kind of go like this with their hands, and they sort of like, you know, they're wiping them clean kind of thing, like, oh, phew, you know, that's over with. You're going to be financially independent. You'll start saving for your pension. You'll do smart things. You'll go on vacations. You know, you're an adult.
You've got the white leather jacket.
And to celebrate, yes, you've bought probably the most impractical object you could possibly get. I mean, who wears a white leather jacket except Elvis? So I had been wearing it for a few weeks, partying and having a great time, going out, you know, going all over Manhattan with it. People would come up and touch it. It was strange. It was men, tall men. It was usually men like over 5'8" that would make comments on this coat. Big, tall men would go, wow, nice coat. It made me feel kind of young and sassy and saucy and like free, very free.
Yeah.
Very, very East Village, very New York, and like, wow, I'm on this path of maturity, and I can do what I want now. I felt like I could have been in a Verve video or something. Like it was a very, very good feeling. I think the very first time I wore that white leather jacket to work was the day I got fired. Yeah. I got dismissed from my job, my first mature job. It takes a while to move on from that. It really does, especially when you had so much put behind it. Brought into question whether I should be in the city, whether I was doing the right thing, pursuing every single thing that could be questioned was questioned. It's like opening the book and just pulling out every page. Afterwards, I looked at it as like something shameful.
The jacket.
Yes, I spent all this money on it, and now I'm out of this job, and I still owe so much in my student loan, and how am I going to do it? And what the heck was I thinking, buying a white leather jacket? I couldn't wear that jacket for a long time after that.
But you eventually were able to wear it again?
When I started to wear the jacket again, it's funny, it kind of didn't feel the same. It felt sort of tight under the arms, and it felt like, you know, when I tied it around the waist, it was up too high, and it's not like I'd grown taller. I didn't feel as good in it as I did before. I couldn't I couldn't pull it off the way I could before.
Like what are you going to do? Do you think you're going to be able to throw it out or not?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of it. I tell you the truth, I think I'm going to keep this coat. Black leather jackets are a dime a dozen, but a white leather jacket, it just feels kind of like it still wants to have its day. You still want to be hopeful with it. It's white.
Hello?
Hey, Josh. This is going to seem like a crazy thing to ask you, but I think I'm going to need to borrow your cat.
What?
I'm going to need to
borrow my cat?
Yeah.
What for?
I think I have a mouse, so I need to get your cat to eat it.
To eat it? No. My cat is not a hired killer. All right? It's not a hit cat. It's my pet. It's the love of my life. And no way am I renting her out to you like some common street cat.
Let your cat earn its keep, okay? You know what I mean? Like, let him get some exercise.
He gets plenty of exercise.
He gets no exercise. You don't even let him out of the house.
Well, why should he go out there? There's dirt out there. You know, why don't you stop your ranting long enough to even refer to the cat by his first name? That's the first sign of disrespect you gave me.
Isn't it like Mr. or some Mr. T, Mr. Bojangles?
No, it's neither of those. In fact, there's no Mr. at all. His name is Fluffles the Magnificent, and you will refer to him as such.
All right, can I borrow Mr. Fluffles?
Who's Mr. Fluffles? I don't know any Mr. Fluffles. Perhaps you're speaking of someone else. I have a cat here, but his name is not Mr. Fluffles.
I remember when you first got this cat, his name wasn't Fluffles, as I recall.
His name has always been Fluffles the Magnificent.
Do you remember what you initially called him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You called him Death Ray.
His name was
You
not
thought that was a cool name. Do you remember?
No, I don't, actually. We don't talk about that anymore. You know who you are? You're one of those guys that when Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali, always referred to his face as Cassius, just to bait him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, Cassius? Hey, can I get your coffee, Cassius? Say his name.
Can I borrow Fluffles the Magnificent?
Finally.
Okay, when can I come over to get him?
You crazy? I'm not letting Fluffles Magnificent to you. No way. That's well below his station. He's an aristocat.
Please.
No.
Okay, it's a terrible situation in my place. I'm like,
sorry.
Do you know I go to sleep at night wearing my shoes?
You're afraid the mouse is going to bite your toesies?
You know what? Anytime you ask me for a favor, I'm there. Okay? Remember who took you to the emergency ward at like 3 o'clock in the morning that time when you thought you were having a heart attack?
My mom took me.
Didn't I take you?
No.
Anyway, I've taken you to the doctor.
No, I called you first, but you were drunk.
Okay, look, do me a favor, please. I'm coming over. Do you have I'll bring a bag or something to put the cat in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You coming over with your words and actions, but you ain't gonna get satisfaction. Yeah, come on over. I got a cat, but I pull out my gat and make you rat-a-tat-tat.
You know what? I really don't like this new rap thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's ever since you got the satellite dish.
It seems to be the only language you understand. When it comes in rhyme, that's when you have the time. You ain't taking this cat. You see, he's mine. You want to bring it? I can bring it.
I'm not bringing it.
What's the matter? You ain't got no cat? Meow, meow. My name is Fluffles. I'm so fly. I'm your cat. So why do you let me out? I scream and shout. You want me to take the stupid mouse out? No. Meow, 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 meow. Everybody catch a mouse now. Meow, 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 meow.
Come on.
Meow.
Everything's always a big joke with you, and right now I really need some help.
John, look, okay, I'm gonna level with you, all right? I need some permanence in my life, okay? I've had a lot of... I've known a lot of people in my life. I've had a lot of friends. They've come and gone, some of them, some have remained. I've had lovers, and unfortunately...
Okay, do me a favor, by the way. Don't say you've had lovers, okay? Tell me you've had a girlfriend. Say you've dated someone. Don't tell me you've had lovers.
I've had lovers. I've had...
Stop saying that.
This is the only tangible thing I have left from my relationship with Susie. She was our cat, okay? I remember beautiful sunny day. mid-April. We drove out to the SPCA. You know, we looked at all the different cats there, and we picked out one that we thought was just, I don't know, it was just clearly our cat. He was calling to us, and it's all I have left of her. You know, I can't let you take that from me. He's not just a pet. Do you understand?
That's right. It was you who had initially named the cat Death Ray, and then Susie decided that his name was going to be the Magnificent Mr. Fluffles.
It doesn't matter what his name is or was.
All right.
Okay? It's all that I have left of Susie, okay? You have to understand, you know what you're asking of me? You want the only thing in my life that unites me and Susie, even now. You want him out eating a disgusting, filthy sewer rat. Do you understand that the decaying flesh of a rodent doesn't speak to me of my enduring love?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't want to get us onto the subject of Susie. I apologize for that, okay? I didn't realize it was going to take us there. I'm sorry. Nonetheless, I'm not going to be... I can't spend another night here with a mouse in the house.
Look, okay, I'm not insensitive. You can look. You can stay at my place, okay? I got a couch.
Really?
It's comfortable. Yeah, I mean, I just rented Terms of Endearment, and
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just come over and watch. You can sleep on the couch, and we'll go get a mousetrap tomorrow or something.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Meow 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 meow.
My most prized possession is something I got when I was about 7 years old, and I keep it on my desk as a reminder to myself of how I want to live my life and how not to live my life, I guess. When I was about 7 years old, my father asked my older brother, Kenny, and I if we wanted to go and play Frisbee on the lawn of the Rhode Island State House. It was May, and there was just a huge grassy lawn, and it was probably about 1973, and I imagine Frisbee was a pretty popular sport, but I don't think I had really played it before. My brother Kenny, who's a couple of years older than me, had, and I just couldn't do it. You know, I couldn't get the hang of it, and I got pretty quickly frustrated and decided I didn't want to play. So as my brother Kenny and my father continued to spin the disc back and forth to each other in these graceful flights, I kind of sulked. And so I sat down in the grass, and it was this beautiful, deep green field of clovers, a couple inches deep probably, with just clovers and grass. As I kind of focused on the clovers at my feet, I picked through them, and I don't know if I was looking for it or if it just occurred to me what I was looking at, but a tiny little four-leaf clover was there, and I picked it, and I kind of felt like I had won the lottery. I mean, I knew that they were valuable, I knew that they were rare, and so I showed it to my brother and my father, and I was so elated. They kind of applauded, that I had found this thing, and oh boy, wait till your mother sees, my dad was saying, and Kenny said, wow, Adam, that means you get good luck for like the rest of your life. In my family, I was always the one who was kind of quiet and couldn't really compete with my two elder siblings. And so here, kind of, I had the limelight, and it felt good, and I liked it, and I wanted more of it. And I knew that there was a couple of patches of clovers out back in the yard behind our house, so I set out to see if I could find another. I mean, I had to show that this wasn't luck. I really was observant. I really was clever, and I did have this uncanny ability to see. So I sat down and I looked through the patch of clovers, but I came up with nothing. The funny thing is that if you spend enough time staring at clovers or weeds that look like clovers, you kind of start to notice the way they're built. There's 3 leaves with a stem right up the middle with kind of a spine that runs down the middle of each leaf. You got 3 leaves. I tore one whole leaf off, and then I took the other leaves and I kind of just split them from the top end right down to where they meet the stem, and then I would leave it hanging on. And I did that to the other side, too, and kind of spread them apart a bit so it seemed that they were autonomous leaves. And it kind of looked like, a 4-leaf clover, if you use your imagination or squint from a distance, small, green. I just wanted the praise so bad, and I took the thing and I went home and I just showed my parents, I found another one. And I got the praise again. I was like, no, you're kidding. Oh, my God. And I think they probably immediately recognized that this was, a massacred remnant of what had been a 3-leaf clover that was crudely fashioned to look like a 4-leaf clover. But they didn't react that way. They said, wow, such luck this child of ours will have. It just felt great. This hidden talent had been discovered. It doesn't matter that I can't play Frisbee. How many kids out there can bring these in? So I went back out to the clover patch, and I made another, and I made another, and then I made another, and brought them in and casually probably tossed them on the table. Here's one for you, Claire. Here's one for you, Kenny. Here's 2. Mom, here's 5. I got 5 4-leaf clovers, and they're just for you. I was just harvesting 4-leaf clovers for the family at this point. My mother laid all of the clovers out on, page 382 of The Joy of Cooking, and then closed the cover and piled something on top of it. And decided that we'd press them and save them, and that was it. It was probably 2 months later that I saw them again. That was in May. My birthday's in July, so my father had something special for me, he said. So I opened this gift, and I was completely horrified. In my hands, I had a piece of acrylic shaped in a circle, cut off at the bottom so that it could sit on a countertop. And inside it, there was 1 4-leaf clover and 8 very fake 4-leaf clovers. And when I looked at it, I thought, oh no. The permanence of these things suspended in plastic like some kind of a fossil you see at natural history museums. These little fractured pieces of clover were encased and would be, and I could feel the complete immortality suddenly of my lie. I think for the first 9 years or so that I had it, I actually kept it hidden away. I had it in a box in the attic, and deep in the box in the attic. I don't think I wanted to see it for a long time. And then I think later on when I was in college, I found it again, and I use it as a paperweight. It's kind of on the piles of unpaid bills that stack in front of me, and it's kind of a reminder of how even the most harmless lies can become kind of take on a certain, weight, literally. And I think that if my parents had just called me out, if the family had just said, "Okay, now, buddy, these aren't real 4-leaf clovers," it wasn't on their minds. They weren't looking to correct me. They didn't see it as a priority. I think that their feeling was, if the kid's making the 4-leaf clovers, who are we to point out to him that they're not the real thing? What is that going to really accomplish? It didn't matter. It was something that I had done. My dad just wanted to do something to celebrate it. So, I enjoy the object now because I'm a father now, and My daughter's not old enough to really to lie, not quite that much. But I think that it was really good parenting, and so I think I value it as a reminder of what it is to be a really good parent too.
Vivo esperando e procurando um trevo no meu jardim. 4 folhinhas nascidas ao léu me levariam pertinho do céu. Feliz eu seria, e o trevo faria que ela voltasse pra mim. Vivo esperando e procurando um trevo no meu jardim. Vivo esperando e procurando um trevo no meu jardim. 4 folhinhas nascidas ao léu me levariam pertinho do céu. Feliz eu seria, e o trevo faria que ela voltasse pra mim. Vivo esperando e procurando um trevo no meu jardim. La ya ra la ya ra ra la ra ra ra.
On Wiretap today, you heard Carolyn Voigt, Joshua Carpati, and Adam Beckman. Wiretap is written and performed by Jonathan Goldstein, and produced by Jonathan Goldstein with Sarah Gilbert and Carolyn Warren. Production help from Mira Burt-Wintonic. You can hear Wiretap Sunday at 1 p.m., 4 Pacific Time, and Friday evening at 8:30. And you can reach us through our website at cbc.ca/wiretap.